This is Christopher Clark, Town Administrator, Town of Harwich. I thought what I would do today during my time is to kind of just walk through a little bit the resources that are available to folks as we go into town meeting. Town meeting will be in May, and it sets the financing plan and basically the work plan, if you would, for the town organization for FY19. Fiscal year 19 starts July 1st of 18 and goes to June 30th of 19. An easy way to remember that is the fiscal year is always the year that it ends, so that's how you know that FY19 ends in 19, so even though it starts early. One of the things that really drives, and I'm going to kind of just, like I said, hit on some of the points of we try very hard in administration and working with the Board of Selectmen to have what's called the annual town meeting warrant done with recommendations. So as folks are probably aware, the Board of Selectmen is the executive authority in the community. They are part-time volunteer people that serve you and are elected, and then they rely upon day-to-day administration to fall to the town administrator and to the various department heads in the organization. So we put together this material. The department heads submit capital budgets, submit operating budgets, and everything gets incorporated into this one booklet. So the annual town meeting warrant with recommendations is now available. I believe we do have it online, and then we do have it in various locations at the community center, at the library, and at town hall. And I would really encourage folks, if you're interested in participating in town meeting, and town meeting is May 7th this year, that if you are interested in participating, that I think it makes sense to try to track one of these books down and kind of walk through it. I think what I might do, just to kind of keep things a little bit simple, is just pick one that is kind of straightforward and just make sure that people get. So in this case, Article 6 is Cape Cod Regional Technical School District budget. So the article has two components to it. One is the article itself, to see if the town will raise and appropriate and or transfer from available funds a sufficient fund of money as may be required to pay for Cape Cod Regional Technical High School District Assessment for FY fiscal year 2019 and to act fully thereon. The total amount of that request is $1,581,237. So that's what's being requested of town meeting to act upon that. And then the legislative body is obviously town meeting, but the finance committee acts as a resource to town meeting. So the finance committee goes through the process. They hold a budget hearing with the Board of Selectmen. They review each of the budgets, and they come up with their recommendation after a lot of due diligence and hard work. And the Finance Committee in this case recommends this article be accepted and adopted to fund the annual operation of the Cape Cod Regional Technical High School, and that $1,581,237 be raised and appropriated for this purpose. And their vote was 5-0. So what that indicates is the first is the warrant article, which says what's before town meeting, and the second part is the recommendation of the Finance Committee. So the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee do weigh in on all of these. In total, there's 69 articles that are up for consideration this year, and then you can see that their recommendation is included. We don't generally include here the Board of Selectmen's recommendations, but they usually have a reconciliation meeting, and the Selectmen recommendations, favorable or not favorable, and the Finance Committee recommendations, favorable or not favorable, are virtually the same. The votes may be slightly different. Some may be unanimous, some may be 4-1, but essentially they're almost identical. So just to give you a little bit of a flavor, and then the moderator, when he's at the meeting, will have that article, that motion be read, and then there'll be a vote. We do have in the booklet a couple other pretty good resources, just voting procedures, so you know how to do the voting. Motions chart So when the moderator asks, is something debatable and not debatable, you can kind of follow along. And then just as a reminder to folks, we do have in here some municipal finance terms. Some of the ones that are probably pretty relevant for Proposition 2.5. I do believe there are in total 6 ballot questions that are financial related, and then 1 that is charter related. So on that, and just the a general override is one that increases your taxes permanently. That is not being requested this year, so there is no need to do a general override. There are some debt exclusion questions, a debt exclusion. So Prop 2.5 allows you to go to a certain level on taxes, and then anything above that, you have to get special permission, if you would, from the voters. So there are some debt exclusions. The significant one is for the sewer project. And then capital exclusions are another one that specifically for one-time increase for that 1 year. There are 2 of them on the ballot for both related to Monomoy Regional School District. So there are 2 capital exclusions on there. Just some of the other resources, obviously a significant amount of the requests for this year. There's probably 2 very large ones that are being made. One is centered on wastewater. So we have updated our book. This book is online and is available to folks. This is 12 pages that was done last year. It has been updated to reflect the current financing plan. You can tell by the April 2018 date if you have the newer booklet. So this kind of gives a sense for the $240 million plan, which is over 40 years and has 8 phases. So this gives you a good overview of the plan that has been adopted. We have, in essence, completed Phase 1. The request for this year is for Phase 2. So in order to make it a little easier, instead of having a 40-year timeline, we have broken it out to have a 4-page document that's educational material on Phase 2 implementation, Article 14, 15, 16, 37, 55, and 61 all evolve around the wastewater question in town. I know that we have some other videos that have been out on this, but this is newly published that we have out and available April of 2018, and it does go through the elements of what needs to be considered or what's going to be in consideration for town meeting this year. And on the back is, I think, kind of handy. It shows the map that what is a part of Phase 2, which is under consideration for this year. That's in a rose color material, a rose color area. A green area is Phase 3, which is about 5 years out from now. And then the darker, almost mustard color is Phase 8. That may be needed to be done, may not, depending upon the results of Phase 2 and 3. So that material, and then project timelines are also in there. And then just a couple other quick things on we've gotten a fair amount of requests for how do I connect to the sewer system if the sewer system comes in. The town last year already approved over $10 million in funding. So we already have well underway with the project. But this funding, and the numbers have been updated and take into account about an 8-year timeline from when they were originally estimated to now more refined. So it's $24,775,000. So that is a significant request that will be financed over 30 years and financed through state funds, which are 2% or potentially 0% in some cases. So I would encourage you to take a read on some of that material. And then also a partnership that we already have a partnership that was agreed to last year with Chatham and Harwich. We are looking at it and really at the preliminary stages of doing a partnership, clean water community partnership with Dennis, Harwich, and Yarmouth. So this gives you a little bit of information on that. I know I'm at my coming up on my 10-minute mark, so there's an awful lot of material. But I just wanted to highlight two other elements that are in the warrant book in terms of the details. You'll see under Appendix B, the capital plan. One of the things I did this year that is new and different, we have the capital plan is one of the articles which is in there. That is all items that are over $50,000 in spending. This one, Appendix B, is all requests that were included in the capital budget. And the one thing that we did do is we have a column now that says annual town meeting article number. So you could actually follow along. There have been some minor modifications to this, but in essence, most of it is still accurate. That shows what the original request was, what is the funding request. So that is Appendix B. And there are some pretty good graphs at the end of that that kind of show where we are in terms of the breakout of those pieces. One that shows the tax-supported debt service on there. And then also we have the available free cash and how the free cash is allocated. So I think that that is pretty good information that hopefully is legible enough for folks. And then Appendix C, which has also been in there in the past, but is really the detailed line item, every single budget and the amount. It shows the actual from 2015, 16, and 17, the voted budget for 18, and then the request for 19, and the percent change. So Appendix C goes into pretty good detail in terms of when you have $65 million, how does that get allocated throughout the organization by department. So you can look at those numbers and get a better sense for those components. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of these items and just make sure that you know that resources are available to you as you make your considerations for town meeting. And I think it's probably important to kind of end on, we have an open town meeting form of government here in the town of Harwich, and open town meeting is probably the most democratic process that remains. And if you're a registered voter eligible to vote in the town of Harwich, you're welcome to participate. If you're not a registered voter and just want to observe, we do have an area set aside for people to observe town meeting to see democracy in action. And it is an important consideration as the town puts forth its spending plan for FY19. So your participation in the process at town meeting and also at the election is important for the community leaders to get a sense if the direction that they're headed is a direction that you share. So Christopher Clark, Town Administrator, Town of Harwich, thank you for your time and attention.